haven't had a chance to ask you your thoughts about the Kayshon Boutte trade from the other day.
So I will start out by saying I really liked Kayshon Boutte. I really liked who he became with the team. Like, I think he grew up a lot in his years here, and he improved every year. The stats may not show exactly that, but I thought that the type of player he was and the skill set and his body control and all those aspects improved a lot. I'm a little surprised at how negative everyone was on the return for him, because you knew that they were trying to move on from him for months. So did you think that they were going to get a 4th-round pick back? Did anyone actually think they were going to get a 2nd-round pick back? I saw some people predicting that.
Oh, well, that's crazy.
And I thought that's nuts.
I wanted a player. So Mike Giardi had mentioned like weeks ago.
Well, you got a player because the Patriots would like you to call this the Jalen Reed trade.
We're not going to call it that. Now, maybe a few weeks into the season, that guy will pop, and then we'll end up saying that. But Giardi had mentioned the Philip Dorsett, Jacoby Brissett trade years ago with the Colts, where it's like both teams were probably just going to cut these guys, but then they're like, we didn't cut them, and look, we got a player that we kind of need. I was hoping for an edge rusher and like another guy to throw on the pile, and whether he's great or not is TBD, but I thought that was more of an area of need. I'm glad they didn't just dump him for a pick. Like, the pick wouldn't have helped at all.
I think
at least this guy has a chance.
What I agree that is like a little bit of a disconnect is that you traded what is supposed to be a premium position for safety depth, which isn't a premium position. And you have a couple guys back there, Del Pettis, John Saunders, who's had a really good camp. Like, nobody expects you to know these names, but at the same time, maybe they had to do this because Christian Gonzalez isn't going to play. I don't know. And they need to firm up the secondary.
More secondary guys.
It just isn't. When you think like, depth problems on the team, you're not immediately going to like, who's the backup safety, guys?
No,
who's the backup safety? So that's the part that I agree with. But I think overall, if you listen to them, it was really important, whatever player they were going to get back, that they were going to have them in the system like for some of preseason and get them up to speed for the season, hoping that this guy can play. He played in 2 playoff games for Houston. But I don't think there was ever going to be a trade that was going to like blow your hair back.
Probably
unless
not.
you waited all the way till the trade deadline and carried a bunch of receivers or cut somebody else.
Like, do you think he would have become a problem, though?
No.
So, yeah, I don't think so either. And so even if he wasn't getting the playing time he wanted right away, at least you do have depth, right? Mike Vrabel was just talking about depth. So, like, if A.J. Brown misses a game, or if Romeo Doubs misses a game, now I got Kayshon Boutte there compared to...
I think people are looking at it and going like, well, who's your ex-receiver if A.J. Brown goes down? Who's going to play the outside? If A.J. Brown's not there, because all due respect, it's not going to be Pop Douglas or Efton Chisholm. And Matt Collins doesn't really do that.
He can run some of that. But like,
he runs a go route.
That's it. That's it. It's helpful. It's useful. But like, I'd rather have Kayshon Boutte in that situation. Now, if Brown and Doubs play the whole season, you might not miss them.
Yeah, then who cares?
Right.
But this is another thing where since we're talking about depth, I also think that people watching it and say like, well, who cares about depth? You finally got some more blue chip talent in your room. Is that the Patriots were extraordinarily fortunate with their injuries last year.
Yeah.
Up until the Super Bowl.
Right.
So, that you can be like a little bit like, okay, well, otherwise, how was the play, Mrs. Lincoln?
Yeah.
But because once you got to the Super Bowl, your quarterback couldn't throw and your left tackle couldn't move.
Right.
But you got there mostly because you were able to keep your top line players healthy.
That's true. All right, let's go back to the phones. You can join us. Let's go to Joe in New Bedford. What's going on, Joe?
I'm all right, guys. So this probably won't happen, but I wanted to get the opinion of yourself and Mego. So as this team currently is constituted, the secondary is considered to be arguably the best in the entire NFL. And there's been a lot of conversation about how this team could benefit greatly from having a top-line edge rusher. Do you think that if a trade was out there for an equally capable edge rusher, that a one-for-one Gonzo trade would benefit this team more so than just holding on to Gonzo?
All right, good question, Joe. So instead of the, Gonzo for picks, Gonzo for, I heard on the morning show they were talking about like Max Crosby. So my thought would be, if the Patriots aren't going to pay Gonzalez, why would they pay Max Crosby? I don't know if they want to pay anybody. It's sort of my take.
That's the frustrating thing is, didn't you learn this in 2021?
Yeah.
There's no shortcuts to getting around paying your drafted guys or drafting poorly, as was the case there. Like, if you draft somebody, God bless you if they turn into somebody that can have a market-setting contract. That's
what
a
you're
place
hoping
that you should
for.
be happy
Yes.
to be in
Yes.
instead of looking at it and going, if he was a little bit worse, then we
Mhm.
could get by with the look at the upside that could be in the contract. Like, you don't want your front office or your ownership to look at it that way.
No.
And so that's where it's frustrating because it's like, I think that people think back to the way Belichick was with especially undrafted free agents that he brought along, like Jacoby Myers, where he'd still look at them, Edelman, and say, like,
Malcolm Butler.
you were the guy who was in the 6th round.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's who you are to me, and that's how I'm going to pay you, like, with that mindset going forward. I don't know if that's the way it is here now.
To answer Joe's question, though, let's put the money to the side because
Yeah.
I don't think I want to pay anybody. But just on the field, would they be a better defense with Gonzalez or Max Crosby?
It's a really good question.
Yeah.
For this year, they would.
Yeah.
I would. Assuming Max Crosby is actually healthy.
I know.
Let's say that we're assuming they're both equally healthy.
Yeah.
Who makes a bigger difference? I mean, maybe Max Crosby.
So
Am I nuts?
No, you're not nuts. I think it's kind of a 50-50 thing. I would lean Gonzalez, and part of it is because I haven't been blown away with what I've seen out of Carlton Davis, and then I just feel like the rest of the corners, Marcus Jones is great, right? Slot corner, great.
Right, but he's
if you-
limited.
Yes. So if you take Gonzalez out of there, I wonder, even though this pass rush is nothing to write home about, can those guys be a little bit closer to average than the remaining corners would be?
Then also the implications of the rest of the room. If you're Drake May, are you looking at that and saying, damn, like they didn't give him guaranteed money? That's the way we do things here?
Yeah.
Or are you looking at him as Drake May and going, well, they're saving that money for me?
I know, I guess. But then you're like, you're going to be
Who else is gonna be
shamed
around
into
me?
it, right? You're going to be like, oh, look at this guy taking all the money because we got to spend all the money on him. Because, like, there's no chance they're going to re-sign A.J. Brown. I don't think.
Well, you don't think that they're going to up his contract a little bit?
It depends on. So he's in a
I'm
different
not saying
camp.
he's like a long-term piece,
That's
but if
the thing.
he has a really good year, aren't they going to pump up his guaranteed money a little bit? They're going to rework that?
Should.
Yeah, because I don't think that he has that much.
So that's I guess it is a different conversation than Gonzalez. Gonzalez, you're talking about like $100 million guaranteed, or more. But AJ Brown won't be that much. But I don't know. The example I always go back to, and this was, going on 10 years ago. Darrelle Revis had the 1 year he was here, he was awesome, and then he was gone. They had like a team option, they didn't pick it up, and it was like a lot of money. And the story was, well, we can't bring back Darrelle Revis, which ended up being the right call, but they're like, because we need to spend money on the young guys. We need to re-sign Hightower, Chandler Jones, Malcolm Butler, and Jamie Collins.
Mm-hmm.
They re-signed one of those four guys, and even then, they made him go all the way to free agency, look around the league, talk to the Giants and all these other teams, and then
went
come
on some
back.
go-sees,
Yes.
and then he came back and was like, okay,
They
hat in
almost
hand.
didn't have any of them. So they're
Right.
like, we can't sign Revis because we have all these guys. And then it's like, are you going to keep these guys? So it should be, in my mind, a no-brainer. Gonzalez, Drake May, and assuming he can stay healthy, A.J. Brown. Those guys should all be on the team. And then figure the rest of the roster out. You're on separately, right? Those guys aren't going to have to be big money. You have to draft well and all that other stuff. This is really frustrating. I keep going back to it because it is the biggest story of the day, and yesterday made me feel worse.
I know people are like kind of sick of it, but we got a lot more information yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
Text line says, Megan.
Oh,
why?
Formal.
Yeah, my Christian name.
Yes.
Why don't you or any member of the useless Boston media
Ouch.
ask Wolf or Kraft to their faces if they are not going to sign Gonzalez? Well, first of all, Kraft told us that they already made an offer. You're just waiting on the negotiations.
Okay.
And second of all, someone did ask Ryan Cowden, if you care about his opinion, yesterday if they were considering trading Christian Gonzalez. And Ryan Cowden said that right now they are focused on working on the negotiations and keeping him here.
All right.
So there you go.
I mean, they were asked questions. Cowden was asked questions about it. Robert Kraft did talk about it before. Now, you don't have to like his answer, but he's like, hey, we offered him the most money in team history. That's what he said. So, he's talked about it. The media's asked him about that. Elliot Wolf was asked about it
But
yesterday.
I definitely am pretty useless. Like, I agree with that.
Oh, yeah. No, that's true. That's
for
true.
sure.
I think we're continuing to work on the negotiation side of Christian, and I think that's where that stays.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's where that stays.
that's where that
Okay,
stays.
so they're not talking about a trade.
Also,
they're talking
cash budget.
about the negotiations
mention
for the
that.
cash budget. That
And
Elliot did that, not
Elliot
Ryan.
did. No, Ryan kept it closer to the vest than Elliot did. Elliot got away from him just a little bit.
Well, Ryan
yesterday.
opened it up by being like, I'm not going to answer all the questions that you guys just asked Elliot. Like, I'm not answering
doing that.
every question again. And we're like, okay.
What about
so
a little bit? What about just a little bit?
This is a new question.